Well, Sunday will mark the first matchup between Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert. The last time that Rodgers played the Chargers, Herbert was still a year away from entering the league. And for more on how the Steelers can win their first primetime game of the season, let's send it back to Bob and Coach for Keys to the Game, presented by your neighborhood Ford store. Guys.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. Before I get into the keys here, and I know we have a lot of them, but I thought a key last week was Joey Porter Sr. I saw him at the alumni dinner, and he said, my son better have a good game. And he did. And I'm sure that was a big component of why he was so juiced on Sunday.
I'm sure Joey Jr. doesn't care about his dad's opinion on game day. We're a little bit beyond daddy ball. This is the National Football League. That young man is a professional. It certainly is a unique story that they get to share. But day in and day out, man, JPJ is earning his own keep. He doesn't need any outside motivation, particularly from his dad. He's got a desire to be great. He's a young player that's working his tail off, and I think it's reflected in his play, particularly last week.
Always good to impress your father and your mother. That's what he's doing right now. But he's going to be key in this game.
I'm sure he's probably a little bit more worried about his mother. I know the family. She's the heavy.
Well, then definitely got to put up the numbers, and he has. But just talk about him as a key stop in this Charger offense, because it is dynamic.
Yeah, it is, man. As I mentioned, there are going to be some one-on-one matchups. They're just talented in too many areas for there not to be. I think a key component of how this game unfolds is the quarterback mobility component. We got to keep him in the pocket. If he gets out of the pocket, we certainly got to minimize the positivity. He can't create yards in chunks with his legs or throwing down the field on extended plays as coverages break down with time, which they all do. The quarterback mobility component is a major component of this game, coupled with the emergence of the many eligibles that he has. And as I mentioned, the most recent one, the rookie tight end Gatson, really complicates matters, because if you didn't already have your hands full with the other three, now there's another one to be concerned about.
Steelers Nation, it's official. Trey Sermon is back on the 53-man roster, and while this might not be the blockbuster headline fans were waiting for, make no mistake, this move says a lot about how the Steelers are building their identity right now. It's about depth, toughness, and reliability. It's about rewarding players who have earned trust the hard way. And it's about setting the tone for the second half of the season, a stretch where every inch of grit will matter. Sermon isn't just a body filling a roster spot, he's the kind of player who can quietly tilt a game when the lights are brightest. The Steelers made it official ahead of their Week 10 matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. Veteran running back Trey Sermon has been elevated from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster. This will be his fourth game appearance this season, and while he hasn't yet recorded a carry or reception in the offense, his impact has been felt on special teams. And for this coaching staff, that matters more than most people realize. Danny Smith, the Steelers' longtime special teams coordinator, has always valued players who bring consistency, effort, and football IQ to the third phase of the game. Sermon checks every one of those boxes. Let's remember who Trey Sermon is. This is a former third-round draft pick by the San Francisco 49ers in 2021, a player who was once seen as part of Kyle Shanahan's backfield of the future. He ran for nearly 170 yards and a touchdown as a rookie, showed flashes of power and patience, but then bounced around, first to the Philadelphia Eagles, then to the Indianapolis Colts. Along the way, he never complained, never coasted, never lost his edge. He just kept grinding, finding ways to contribute. And now, at 26 years old, Sermon is finally in a place where his toughness and professionalism are being valued the way they should be, right here in Pittsburgh. This move also speaks volumes about the way Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin approach roster construction. They're not chasing headlines, they're building a roster that can win ugly football games in December and January. You can see it in how they're managing the running back room. Jaylen Warren has emerged as the lead back, explosive, physical, relentless. And Kenneth Gainwell has been steady in the number 2 role. Rookie Caleb Johnson, who started strong before slipping down the depth chart, is still learning what it means to play Steelers football. Sermon's addition adds a layer of insurance and intensity behind that trio, the kind of move you make when you're thinking about playoff football, not just surviving the regular season. And here's the underrated part. Trey Sermon is built for Pittsburgh. At 6 foot, 215 pounds, he's the definition of a downhill runner. He's not the flashy type who dances in the backfield. He's the kind who lowers his shoulder, eats clock, and punishes tacklers. He fits perfectly into what offensive coordinator Arthur Smith wants to do when the temperature drops and the game slowed down. When the Steelers need to control the ball, keep Aaron Rodgers upright, and wear down defenses in the fourth quarter, a back like Sermon can quietly become the difference between a win and a loss. This is the kind of signing that might fly under the radar nationally, but means everything inside the locker room. Because this team knows that depth wins championships. It's not just about the stars, DK Metcalf, TJ Watt, Aaron Rodgers. It's about the players who fill the gaps when injuries hit, when the grind gets heavy, when the spotlight fades and the fight continues in the trenches. Sermon embodies that blue-collar mentality that defines this city. He's the kind of player who shows up early, does his job, and earns respect through action. And don't overlook the timing. The Steelers are coming off a 27-20 win over the Colts where the run game sputtered. Just 55 total rushing yards. You don't think Mike Tomlin noticed that? This move might be a signal that changes are coming in the offensive approach. Maybe it's about lighting a fire under the current rotation. Maybe it's about sending a message. If you want touches, you have to earn them. Sermon's elevation creates competition, and in a locker room like Pittsburgh's, competition is always healthy. It's also worth noting that this comes just days after Omar Khan stood firm at the trade deadline, refusing to move Alex Highsmith despite trade calls from multiple teams. The message from the front office is consistent. This is not a team looking to rebuild or experiment. This is a team built to compete, and every roster decision reflects that. Elevating Sermon isn't about desperation, it's about preparation. And for Trey Sermon himself, this might be his best shot yet to solidify a long-term role in the NFL. He's already been through the ups and downs of bouncing between rosters and practice squads, but in Pittsburgh, he's found something more stable, a coaching staff that values him, a system that suits his strengths, and a locker room that's all about accountability. He's not here to replace anyone, he's here to add value, to push everyone around him to be better. The Steelers' identity this season has been built on resilience. They've weathered injuries, offensive inconsistencies, and all the outside noise that comes with having Aaron Rodgers in the building. And yet here they are, 5-3, leading the AFC North, controlling their own destiny. Moves like this, subtle, smart, strategic, are what keep that momentum alive. You can tell this organization is thinking not just about this week's matchup against the Chargers, but about what it takes to win in December football. And let's not forget what happens when depth gets tested. We saw it last year across the league. Teams that lost their third running back or special teams anchor late in the season ended up collapsing when it mattered most. Pittsburgh isn't letting that happen. They're shoring up every position group, making sure that if one man goes down, another can step in without hesitation. That's how championship teams are built. And with Trey Sermon stepping up, this running back room just got tougher. Special teams just got better. The offense just got another spark. The Steelers are not sitting still. They're adapting, evolving, and sharpening the edges for a playoff push. So as we head into Sunday night in Los Angeles, one thing's clear. This isn't just another roster move, it's a statement of intent. The Steelers are reinforcing their foundation, trusting their process, and staying true to the values that have made this franchise one of the most respected in football. It's a reminder that in Pittsburgh, every player matters, every role is earned, and every decision points toward one goal: winning football games the Steelers way. Steelers Nation, what do you think? Will Trey Sermon finally get his first offensive snap in black and gold this weekend? Do you think he can carve out a bigger role behind Warren and Gainwell as the season moves forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you believe the Steelers' depth and discipline are what set them apart from the rest of the NFL, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to Steelers Nation Wire because the journey to the playoffs is just getting started and Pittsburgh is ready for the fight.